All right, guys, here we are on another cloudy day in California because it never rains in Southern California. And I have debunked that. I have debunked that over and over again, that it doesn't rain in Southern California, because it does. But today I'm here because people will tell me, well, the reason you're not successful, and I've heard this over and over again throughout the eons, that I am not successful because I'm not educated enough. I'm not upskilled enough. I don't have a business plan. I've heard it all before. But the worst of all, and again, I'm not really just talking about myself, but in general, people love to do this, is when you're struggling, when you're at the end of your rope, you've reached the last straw, and you're ready to end yourself, people will come to you, pat you on your shoulder, and say, "Don't worry about it. I think you would make a great teacher," or "I would think you would make a great this," or "I would think you would make a great that." And I say to those people, never do that. Never do that to somebody who is at the end of their rope. Don't. Why? Because that pushes them over the edge. What you do for a person like that is you bring them to someone you know that has a school, that has decision-making powers, and you promote them to that person, and then hopefully they get a shot at an interview, and maybe they'll get a job. Maybe they'll get a job. That is what you're supposed to do. Again, it's not about me. It doesn't matter, because I was not at that point. I got to the point, and there's so many people out there, which is why the data on people being employed in this country is all fictitious, because there are so many people out here in America who got to a point where they were like, nah, I am just done trying to find work. And that is the truth. There are so many people here in America which got to the point of going through the process. And the thing is, there's a lot of people who would have no problem if you just took them and said, I need you to do this job. Whether it's flipping burgers, whether it's standing at the side of a corner with a sign, flipping a sign, or doing all kinds of other things, even nursing. You know, we don't have enough nurses. All kinds of things. There's plenty of people who are educated and capable of doing amazing things, teaching, etc., etc. But they are so tired with the process of finding work, right? It is so difficult. The process of putting together a resume, going through the interviews, blah, blah, blah. They are so tired of that it's almost like a torturing system that they've done in the military, where they keep poking you, like with a stick, when they don't want you to think about a certain topic. Let's say they want you to stop thinking about, smoking. So every time you think about smoking, they'll zap you, right? It's a torture thing that they've done in the military for forever, and there's people don't talk about this. But anyway, there's this torturing method that they use in the military. And let's say you wanted to stop smoking. Every time you think about smoking, you get zapped. So eventually you get to the point where you're like, oh man, I just don't want to think about smoking ever again. And that is what people have suffered in America when it comes to trying to find work. So then when you go around and you start blaming people like, oh, why don't you get a job? You're just a lazy person. That's why. That's why. We have been conditioned and completely got to the point where we are done. We just don't want to, because it's you've given us PTSD at this point, and so we're like, no, we're done. We're done. We'll do just about anything else, including jump into a cage with a raging, caging, animal and fight to the death. Well, maybe we'll do that, but not. But we will definitely not look for jobs, because that's how it went. So yeah.